The Howling is one of those movies I've always heard about but just never watched, and one day my buddy was getting rid of some stuff and was like, hey man, you want some stuff? And there it was in Steelbook. In the Steelbook?
Macaroni with the chicken strips.
After watching it, it's pretty good. The film is about a journalist who gets tangled up with a serial killer after the killer is gunned down by a policeman. Her doctor recommends her to go to this retreat with her partner to basically have like a mental break. However, once there might be something afoot. I realize I'm reusing some memes here this season. This is a werewolf movie, not spoilers because it's all over the promo art for the film, despite the film trying really hard to build a mystery of what's going on. Like, the film doesn't try to be a werewolf movie or tell you it's a werewolf movie up front. It tries to like develop that, mystery, but it doesn't really work when, that's literally the promo stuff.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Honestly, I just found the first half of this film to be really boring. I find for the most part these 80s creature features, the setup is the hardest part to get through, and it's the same here. We spend our time bouncing around from the serial killer subplot, if it's really can be considered a subplot, to the other characters investigating, to our main character, the retreat, bouncing around like it's just really dragging out the pacing, how it moves between the different plot lines. And honestly, I never really cared about any of the characters because they're just not that interesting or very well developed. I just watched the film and I could honestly couldn't tell you any of the names of the main characters because they just don't feel important. These characters are only here to be put in the mix of the good parts of the film, which is the end of the film. This is one of those films that I didn't really take any notes on because it just wasn't needed. But I will say when the film finally found its footing in the back half of the film, I was pretty into it. The werewolves look cool. They're very similar like dog soldiers, which I'm a huge fan of. The transformation scenes are definitely dated, but there's also a lot of fun and look gross moments. We don't get to spend a lot of time with full-body werewolves. The wolves aren't really around very much, but when they are, it's a lot of fun. I don't want to spoil the film, but the setup at the end of the film I really enjoyed as a premise for a horror film. There's a lot of other films that kind of do the same thing, and I hope if you've seen the film, you kind of know what I'm talking about, but it also kind of works well here. The score I literally can't remember a single thing about, even though I just watched it. The cinematography was pretty middling, but the film is just really here to serve you the back end of it. It kind of gives me the same feeling as something like Society did, where I just couldn't get into the film, but the back end kind of makes everything worth it. I definitely think Society has a better back end, but I did feel like I was finally paid off for waiting to kind of, sit through these characters I don't really care about to watch the back end, which is a lot of fun. This is just one of those films I'll probably forget about within a couple weeks, and while I definitely think it makes for some good background party viewing, I don't see myself ever really watching this one again. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.